No, I'll suggest to you that the reason why our great leader, Minor Starmer, is so silent about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria and Sudan is because it conflicts with the narrative that Islam is a religion of peace, and because there isn't a Muslim bloc vote to be bought by it. I want to talk about Trump's comments on Nigeria. Let's be clear. There is a genocide of Christians in Nigeria. Tens of thousands of Christians have been butchered. So many Christians have been butchered in Nigeria that we cannot even identify the complete number. We can only guess at how many have been killed. Two groups are primarily responsible for this genocide: the Fulani herdsmen and Boko Haram. These groups are funded by Islamists from around the world and from inside Nigeria, like the state of Qatar, like the UAE, and like places like Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, the world has been silent about this massacre for over a decade, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you why Gary Lineker and all of that ilk were so silent about the deaths of tens of thousands of Christians, is because there were no Jews to blame. Because they were poor, black Christians. And we all know, to the eyes of the liberal progressive, that a white-looking Palestinian is more important than a poor black Christian in sub-Saharan Africa. But they are important to me because they're my brothers and sisters. They're part of my family, the church. And ladies and gentlemen, this victory that we have achieved of finally getting the Oval Office, the most powerful state in the world, to recognize the genocide of Christians in Nigeria, was not because of the sectarians that come to the park and attack other Christians. It is not because of the cowardly middle-class church leadership who were silent so they didn't disturb community relations. It was because of Christians like myself who for the last 10 years and more have been shouting at every opportunity about the butchering and the mass murder of Christians in Nigeria. And so I want to say to every brother and sister who ever raised their voice about the massacres in Nigeria and Sudan, congratulations to you. What Trump said and is going to do is the fruit of your labors, and may God bless you for speaking up for the voiceless, ladies and gentlemen. But now that the Christian church might finally have a champion in the sense of a nation state willing to stand up for the persecuted, Russia, you missed your chance. This is what that state should do. Firstly, sanctions should be levied against all individuals in the Nigerian state who have participated and turned a blind eye to this genocide. International arrest warrants should be issued for all individuals that can be identified as participating in this genocide. Sanctions should be placed against the Nigerian state for this genocide, and an ultimatum given to the Nigerian government that you will accept military cooperation with the United States to destroy the Fulani and Boko Haram, and to return all stolen land by the Fulani to the people to whom it rightfully belongs. And if you do not accept military assistance, then the American government will intervene unilaterally, to quote President Trump, all guns blazing, and will do the job itself.
Yeah.
Furthermore,
Yeah.
the American state should support the establishment of Christian militias in Nigeria to defend themselves, directly arming them, and if necessary, even seek the division of Nigeria between North Nigeria and South Nigeria, working to establish a free, independent and Christian southern Nigeria, backed by the full might of the United States.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you. Finally,
Yeah.
I want to ask this to our tyrant Keir Starmer, our great leader, Minor Starmer.
White car.
I want to ask Minor Starmer why he has been so vocal on the issue of Palestine, but so quiet about the plight of black poor Christians in the Sudan and in Nigeria, where they are being butchered, ladies and gentlemen.
For the block vote.
Why?
For the block vote.
Why? I'm going to come to that, Billy. Stop stealing my thunder. This is my speech. Do you want to finish it? No! I'll suggest to you that the reason why our great leader, Minor Starmer,
White car.
the tyrant, is so silent about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria and Sudan is because A, it conflicts with the narrative that they lie, that they are trying to tell you that Islam is a religion of peace, and B, because there isn't a Muslim bloc vote to be bought by it. But by funding mosques, because some mosque got set on fire by another Muslim and another mosque got graffitied on, whilst ignoring 9,000 attacks against churches in the UK in the last 3 years, and by ignoring the genocide of Christians in Nigeria and Sudan, he does not jeopardize his Muslim vote, and he does not present to the British people evidence to the contrary of the thesis that Islam is a religion of peace, just like Christianity. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Go on, Billy.
I was going to say, did you hear the head of Blackwater try to consult the Pope about it before Trump's comments? Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did. So Blackwater, I think his name's Eric Prince. He is a guy who set up a mercenary organization, and he approached the Pope and said, hey, why don't you employ my mercenary organization to go and defend Christians in Nigeria? My question to the Holy Father is this. Holy Father, if you are allowed a mercenary army to defend you in the Swiss Guard, why can Christians in Nigeria not also have an army to defend them? If you are not willing to sanction and legitimize an army to defend persecuted Christians, then do the noble thing and tell the Italian state to dismiss its security personnel that protect you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Dismiss your Swiss Guard, who are all sworn to lay down their lives for your protection, or to keep your personal protection, legitimize the use of armies to defend Christians. As a head of state, you can sanction a mercenary group to operate on behalf of the Vatican State to defend persecuted Christians, and you should do so. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
One.
Go on.
When you debating, which tape brother was it?
Oh.
You meant to debate.
It was never agreed that it was going to be a debate.
Oh.
Tristan Tate, but that's not on topic. Any questions on the topic of Nigeria and America's intervention in Nigeria and the situation in Nigeria?
What can we do to spread awareness?
Right, great question. Great question. Here's what you can all do. You've all got social media accounts. You need to fill social media with the story of what's happening to Nigerian Christians. Be the voice of the voiceless is the most biblical thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen.
Still from the women's department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the archbishops and the members of the Church of England, so many church leaders, are cowards because they will not be the voice of the voiceless, and they are failing in their Christian duty. And Islamist dogs like the one to my right, who tries to obfuscate about the butchery of Christians, ladies and gentlemen, are exactly why you must find your voice for the Christians of Nigeria and the Christians of Sudan. Any other questions on the topic?
What Indonesia is doing in Papua, what used to be New Guinea, with the Christian.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just Nigeria. It's not just Sudan. The Indonesian state right now is persecuting the poor black Christians of East Timor. East Timor is a country under Indonesian oppression. When will the world come to their assistance? I pray a blessing upon President Trump. I pray that he has the courage of his convictions. And I ask Hungary, Poland, and all Christian countries around the world to rally to the side of Trump in establishing a holy league, an international alliance of Christian states that will use the full might of their military to defend persecuted Christians from Islamist militants around the world, and also other nations that persecute the church. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, on the topic? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, you want to talk, Billy?